So, hey everybody, you may have noticed that Octiga have released some new conditional access policy baselines that allow very fine-grained control on user inclusions and group and role inclusions and exclusions. And it also allows you to set a conditional access policy in a template that is generalized and then select that you want to override on a per tenant basis for maybe users or groups that would be specific to those tenants. For example, if you needed a different break glass account, which would naturally be on each constituent tenant. You'll see the new conditional access policies in our best practices. They're right up here. We'll be releasing 3 or 4 more in the coming 2 weeks. I should have another one out next week, hopefully. We have also deprecated the old ones. So if you can see here, anybody who's already onboarded would see still the old ones, which we have changed the name of to the same name with deprecated added to them. Now, what I would suggest is it's no problem having multiple conditional access policies would do similar thing on a tenant, but they might cause some confusion. And indeed, if one was forcing to block something which another one made an exception to, then you might get quite confused and not achieve the result you're looking for. So I would say you should probably remove these ones. So set that to no policy delete. And I think we have a similar one here. We'll just set this one to disabled. I'll have to get no policy deleted added to that. But disabled will be fine too, because we can just turn it off. And so now we've updated those 2 templates. So if we jump down to any one of our tenants, we will see that that has been removed. So this deprecated one will now be set to no policy delete. I've previously remediated this one, so if you remediate that to no policy delete, it will remove the baseline from the tenant. And also similarly for the legacy of conditional access policy. At that then point, you can add in the new ones. I've added 2 here. So if I jump back up to the template level, again, I'll just show you adding the MFA one. So let's see, this is an existing template. Here's the new conditional access policy to enforce MFA. I will be adding it to these 2 tenants. That's absolutely fine. And when I drop into this, when it appears, you will see that I can do a number of things in here. So you've only one option to enable or disable or delete, and this is already bound to MFA. So all we want to do in this case is to say that this is going to be for all users, as we want MFA for all users enforced by conditional access policy on this tenant. And then simply to say that at a tenant level, we would like to allow for tenant level overrides to be set on roles, users, or groups. Let's give some flexibility. And maybe we want to let that happen for guests or external users as well, should we require that. So I'm going to save this and let that roll out. So again, Octiga don't make any changes without your say so. So I'm going to jump down to the tenant now and actually enforce those changes. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into my conditional access policy to enforce MFA. And I'm now going to pick some exclusions that I want. So you can see here, I've actually 2 already in my policy that I did previously to this video. So in this case, I'm going to click on my exclusions and I'm going to manage. Now we have 2 views on this. This is for managing between the baseline, what's on the tenant already, and adding some more exclusions. You can also see there was an area for inclusions as well. But in this case, we've included all users and then defined some exclusions on a per tenant basis. So in this case, I'm going to compare with the baseline on the tenant. You can do that through this tab here. So this is comparing with the policy that's already on the tenant. You can see in a previous incarnation today, I've already put these 2 particular items in the baseline in the policy on the tenant. I can add those into the baseline if I wish, but in this case, I don't want to do that. I'm going to overwrite those 2 because I don't want those as 2 exclusions. So I'm going to jump back to manage users, pick the people I want an exclusion for. So say, for example, you can imagine that the support inbox, we'll pick this admin actually. Let's imagine that was a break glass admin account. I add it over here. I then say that's fine and I continue. And that will then be added as a single user to exclusions, so that person will not require MFA. And I simply remediate that. So as you can see, we've got fine-grained control, and this is a way of migrating from our old conditional access policy format to the new conditional access policies, which we'll use going forward, and we'll be adding to very shortly. I can take any questions for anybody. You can ping me on Teams, raise a question in our support email, so on and so forth.